Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see here on our channel, on our website, or on our social media. Reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. Today we are discussing an extraordinary timepiece built in platinum in 30 pieces for the 2002 model year, based on 2001's Medicus Chronograph. This is the Medicus Chronograph Platinum Skeleton, freehand engraved and skeletonized. This timepiece is extraordinary in every regard, starting with its fit. It's 37 millimeters wide by a remarkably compact 43.2 millimeters lug-to-lug and a reasonable 11.5 millimeters thick with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, you can see just how much clearance I have on both sides of my wrist. I could easily wear this watch on a wrist as small as 13 centimeters circumference, so almost everyone is welcome to play. This is no Adult Swim. As you can see, the timepiece is substantial, but it's not terribly broad. At 43 millimeters across the wrist, you're going to find that this is an ideal option if you are, for example, a lady collector who wants something that's not small and diamond and quartz, or a male collector with a taste for traditional sizes or a smaller wrist. Honestly, even if you have a huge wrist, the gravitas of this one is going to be equal to the occasion. Let's take a quick look at the hardware and the software. Not a ton to say here, other than it's commensurate to the price point and the branding. It's a Vacheron Constantin factory strap in brand new condition, calfskin on the bottom, large rectangular scale alligator leather on the top. There is some bolstering. It does feature a sheer side showing the layers of construction, black with a monotone stitch, and there's a simple Maltese cross matching platinum pin buckle. The timepiece is extraordinary, starting with its freehand engraved Vacheron Constantin logo on the 9 o'clock side. The lugs are spare but striking, angular and minimalist. You can see this timepiece has a cushion case inspired by the 1920s and 30s. There is a faint beveling on the edge of the case, and you'll also note that the bezel and the case are all of one piece. There is no seam, there is no break between them. The bezel itself, as well as the lug hoods, are polished, and you can see there's a little lip in polish uniting them at the base, with bolstered and shouldered rectangular chronograph pushers and the Vacheron Constantin crown featuring the Maltese cross. Roll around to the dial side and you can see the Latin pulsation scale. So you use the chronograph in conjunction with the scale and you count to 30, and presumably you're going to start from the beginning and you're going to count to 30. And let's say, for example, you count 30 pulses, right, 30. Well, you're going to take a look and you'll be like, okay, well, this person's pulse per minute is just over 180. If you count 30 pulses and then stop, you read the pulse per minute rate on the scale. It's that simple. Now, the timepiece features a set of floating registers, one of which is for constant seconds, one of which is for minutes, and you can basically just ignore them because all of the action is at the base of the dial, flanked by lovely individual white gold applique indices and covered by broadsword hands with a fluted center and high polish. You can see the caliber 1145 SQ. You'll note the name of the manufacturer up at 12 o'clock, and you can see that the Vacheron Constantin Maltese cross has been cut into the mainspring barrel, which is skeletonized and freehand engraved. In fact, everything on this movement is. The original Medicus chronograph used a Lamagna 1872, which is the two-register version of the Moonwatch caliber. Omega's 1861 is based on the Lamagna 1873. Some folks appreciated that Vacheron had made some improvements, but felt it did not go far enough based on the brand's historical standards. So the next year, the skeletonized Medicus arrived, and it's not just skeletonized. You could see that every single remaining ethereal plane of rhodium-plated brass has been freehand engraved with a burin. You could see that the levers of the chronograph, and you can really see from this angle, but the steel levers of the chronograph have been mirror beveled on their sides and satinated on their tops. All of the skeletonized parts have also been beveled on their sides, so every single individual component features anglage, whether functional mechanical steel or rhodium-plated brass. You'll also note the use of abundant interior angles, a feature completely absent on the standard Medicus. Tech specs, a few. It's a manual wind with a 48-hour power reserve. It's a cam lateral clutch chronograph, so it's tough, but in terms of these things, unusual in a watch of this price point and stature. However, Vacheron has tuned it to the point that it feels as crisp as a column wheel. Did I mention Vacheron made some changes to this movement? Quite evidently. Now, it beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour, and it pivots on 17 joules. It does not have hacking seconds, but it does have As you can see on the reverse side, a beautiful and open architecture with an oversized balance that's almost 1/3 the diameter of the movement. So you can see the architecture is a little bit old school, evocative of the earliest days of this movement when it was originally designed in 1941 with a column wheel as a joint effort between LeMania and Omega. Vacheron has made this movement its own, mechanically and artistically. This timepiece, 30 meters water resistant, is clearly not a sports watch, though it is a sporty watch, and if you do happen to be a doctor, I cannot think of a more appropriate indulgence for your everyday carry. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.